Hello and welcome to this nth installment of Back to the Drawing Board. Cue the theme music. I love doing that. Like, it's great. Like, why does my forehead look so big at the minute? Like, it's kind of crazy. Right, yeah, I'll pull the bandana a bit, make it not look so. Although there was a time in the past apparently where like having a big forehead was considered quite attractive. So, but anyway, I digress. So in today's episode, I thought we would study that of half-time and double-time feel. So what do I mean by half-time and double-time feel? Well, as a prerequisite, we need to go back a few lessons. I think back to the first lesson in particular when we looked at subdivisions, which I'll put a link in, but I will give you a brief overview of what I mean. So the subdivisions we're going to look at today most specifically are going to be that of quarter note feel, eighth note feel, and 16th note feel. So what do I mean by that? So let me just mark this up here for you. So when I meant quarter note feel, it means in a 4/4 timing, every beat is a quarter, hence why there's a 4 in the kind of nomenclature for it when you're looking at tablature. So it means a quarter note, each note is a quarter of that bar. And we will represent this as the following. So if we say have just 4/4 timing to begin with, quarter note was basically on each beat. That's considered a quarter note. Can we see that quarter as well? I'm not the other side, sorry. Yeah. An eighth note is 1 and 2 and 3 and basically, so it becomes an eighth note. There are a total of 8 attacks in each bar, and that looks like this. Again, we said eighth note. Finally, a 16th note subdivision is where there are 4 attacks per beat, giving you a total of 16 at the bar. Therefore, this is considered a 16th note. And this looks like the following. So there we go, there are a total of 16, 4 per each beat. Also, what's interesting as well is in our first episode, I talked about Konnakol as to how to sign these, or rather phonetically assign these so that it's easy to time them when practicing. So, for example, in the quarter note feel, you usually use ta, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be simply just ta. In the next one, we would use taka to separate it up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and taka, 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 taka. And finally, for the 16th note feel, we would then use taka comes into it, but we have to fill in the notes in between. So each one of these here, taka, we use takatimi, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, giving you the 16. Takatimi. So, for those of you who have been with me since the beginning, you may be asking, why is this so important in particular? And by the way, for those of you who have joined me, I have noticed my numbers going up a little bit over the weekend, which is great. So if you are in the journey with me, feel free to check out the first lesson as well. But you may be asking, well, Sam, why is this particularly important for half-time and double-time feel? Well, it doesn't take anyone with a degree in mathematics to realise basically that these are all related to each other. So, for example, we can say that the double time equivalent of the quarter note feel is effectively the eighth note feel, as in you've doubled the amount of notes within the bar, basically. So you've gone from 4 notes to 8 notes. And similarly with the 8th note feel to that of the 16th note feel are also related by double time feel. You've gone from 8 notes to 16 notes in effect, really. We've got to remember as well that tempo is not changing as well, so the tempo in this particular case is fixed. So, well, as an example of that, we could use the old clap and tap to demonstrate that. So I always recommend that if you get a metronome, we'll stick with yeah, 85 is quite good. So if we start off by going da, and then we go double time feel over that, and then double time feel over that, you'll notice that the kind of, not the pulse necessarily, but the amount of notes is going to change, giving you a slightly faster feel or a increased time feel in a way, even though the BPM 85 is remaining unchanged. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and da 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 ga da ga da ga da ga takidimi 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 ta ga da ga da ga da ga ta 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 ta. So I went up and down there. So going down, you can also see that they are related by half-time feel. So for example, the relationship between that 16th note feel to 8th note feel is half-time. You've gone from 16 notes to 8 notes. And similarly with the 8th notes all the way to the quarter notes, you've gone half-time, or you've gone like back to sort of half-time feel. If you're going in that direction, you've gone from 8 notes to 4 notes. A good example of this, if I was to take you to the practice corner, is a band I've recently got into called Xandria. I believe they're called Xandria. Like I said, I will link it in the description. It's a really cool song. They're a really great brand. They're a really great band. A symphonic metal band from Germany. I've been recently getting into a bit of symphonic metal, and they use this to great effect to give you change, keeping the tempo the same. They basically give you a nice sort of change in a way, really, to the song. So let's make our way to the practice corner. Okay, so for this particular example, we're going to study a band called Xandria. I don't know how you quite pronounce it, but I'll put a link in the description below. A song they do called Nightfall. We're going to look at the chorus section, which then leads on to a breakdown section, I believe, and then this leads on to then a pre-solo section. During these sections you will see or feel a change going from that to half time to then double time. Bear in mind as well, the metronome will always be fixed at the same tempo as well, so we're at 85 BPM. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go to the drawing board and have a look at what's been going on there. So that was Xandria's Nightfall. I didn't realise I made a mistake there, so I've corrected that. It's Takadimi. I think that's an excellent example, really. Yeah, it's done better justice in the original version, the actual version itself, because you can hear what the drummer's doing in the way really to give that slow down tempo, when in fact the tempo has remained unchanged, but it gives you that kind of slow down feeling. The chord progression as well is also the same too, in a way, really. which gives you that kind of like, you know, they're not doing anything sonically different. They're kind of just changing the tempo to give you kind of an unusual texture, in a way, if that's the right word. It's very hard to describe without actually sort of doing it and rather demonstrating it, but also listening to it as well in particular. But I highly recommend listening to that band. It's excellent, and I'm not endorsed by them or plugged by them in any sort of way, but I thought that would be a great example for this week's lesson on double time and half time feel. Okay, that's this week's episode of Back to the Drawing Board. Hope you've enjoyed. As per usual, if you're new, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. And I hope to see you again next week, where we, I don't know, look at whatever I fancy really in the meantime. But like I say, please join the movement. Like, as those trumpets out there would say, make music great again. You know what I mean? Start a fake Trump accent. Fucking yeah. Anyway, I'll get out of your way. Bye.